cure for cancer. It's a headline all of us want to see, but sometimes it seems like seeing that headline makes a walk on the moon, well, seem like a walk in the park. Our next guest, Ashley Nelson from the American Cancer Society, is going to talk to us about, well, how long it will be until we have that day. Hi, Ashley.
Hi there.
So talk to us about the mission of the American Cancer Society. In a way, is it to put yourself out of business to find a cure for cancer?
It absolutely is. In the meantime, we are basically trying to improve quality of life, access to care through education, research, and prevention and detection initiatives.
Yeah, you know, there is this popular meme on Facebook and social media I've seen lately that says, cancer sucks. And, you know, as someone who lost my mother, my grandmother, numerous family members, and my best friend to cancer, it really does. It seems to me that for as much progress as has been made, it still seems to really be with us. Are we making progress in the fight against cancer?
Yes, we actually are. We're making a lot of progress in the fight against cancer. We're detecting it earlier and treating it better, ultimately making it more like a chronic or treatable disease. We have a lot of work to do until we are there, but we're currently saving at least 1,000 lives a day. That's our goal at the American Cancer Society. We are investing in research, and we are also providing services to those who have cancer now.
You know, we were speaking before this interview started about your time living in Madrid, Spain. My husband and his family all live in Spain, and my husband just turned 50. I turned 53 years ago, and went through that rite of passage for everyone in the United States, getting a colonoscopy, you know, prevention for colon cancer. And my husband was telling me that in Spain it's very different. There they don't really believe in doing the prevention thing. They wait until you find it. How different is the way we approach cancer from country to country? And is the United States really in the forefront of using prevention methods versus care?
Wow, that's a really big question. I'm glad you asked it. The American Cancer Society is trying to detect cancer earlier and, of course, prevent cancer. And we do see this as a global cause. And here in the United States, the American Cancer Society, along with a number of other organizations, are doing what's called 80 by 2018. This is an initiative to get everyone who's eligible for colorectal screening screened by the year 2018. There are many people out there who aren't accessing colonoscopies or other types of screening tests like FIT tests, which can actually not only detect colon cancer earlier, but prevent it by grabbing the polyps, which could become cancerous.
Well, exactly. For instance, you know, I had a polyp removed when I had my colonoscopy, so did my husband, benign. But even if it hadn't been benign, they would have been able to get it. Why aren't more people, and men and women, because I think there is a stereotype that only men get colonoscopies, but women should get it as well.
Absolutely. It's men and women, you know, and it really is determined by your risk factor. So there are folks who should begin their colonoscopies at the age 50. If there is family history, they need to talk to their provider about if they should start about 10 years earlier. There are certain racial and ethnic groups that have a disproportionate incidence that impacts their community, and they too should reach out to their primary care provider to see if it's time for them to get their screening.
Right. I mean, so many people in the world, and I think in the United States, is it 1 in 4 families are impacted by cancer?
Yes, I believe.
It's an incredible number, and there are many different types of cancer. But for people who maybe aren't aware, you know, on a spectrum of 1 to 10, what is 1 the most benign sort of cancer and 10 the worst?
Oh goodness, you know, that's a big question, and there are some cancers that are significantly more treatable than others, and those who progress much more quickly. But ultimately they are all dangerous. They can all lead to death if not treated and taken care of.
One of the programs that I know the American Cancer Society is really putting out there, and one that I found of interest, is the Look Good, Feel Better program.
Yes.
I remember as a teenager one day finding out my mother had ovarian cancer, and startling her, I walked into her room and I saw her putting on her wig. And it was the first time that I'd ever realized, one, that, you know, as a young teenager, that she had lost all her hair from radiation treatment. And it was an embarrassing but very tender moment between mother and son, because I realized how important for her being able to look better was to her self-esteem. Tell us about this program, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is all about that. It's what the name is, Look Good, Feel Better. It's actually a collaboration amongst 3 organizations: the American Cancer Society, the Personal Care Products Council Foundation, and the Professional Beauty Association. And we've come together to provide workshops to women who are experiencing the appearance-related side effects associated with cancer treatment. Oftentimes, women have changes in their hair, skin, and nails when they're receiving chemotherapy, radiation, and other treatments. So the aim is to basically restore one's self-esteem, feel normal, feel themselves, so that they can move forth in their fight against cancer with confidence. And so it's going to teach everything ranging from skincare, the importance of moisturizing, to drawing on a natural-looking eyebrow that they may have lost.
Right.
And you mentioned wigs. You know, it's going to talk about how to use a head covering. And you can use turbans, and you can use scarves, and you can use wigs. And it's really an opportunity for them to, again, regain their self-esteem and look good and feel better.
Right. As a representative of the American Cancer Society, are you optimistic? Do you ever have days where you're like, oh my God, this is just too much to take on, we're never going to cure this? Or
yes, but at the same time, those same days I'm incredibly hopeful. You know, I think I work in a world where I think that cancer is everywhere, but it's not. And that's a good thing. It's being reduced, but we need to be hyper aware. We need to take care of ourselves, you know, eat healthy, live healthy lifestyles to help prevent cancer. We need to do our screenings so that we can catch it early. And if we are unfortunate to be diagnosed with cancer, we need to reach out to organizations to see what help is available to take us through that journey. So I might be involved in it, you know, every day, and I think it's there all the time, but there's a lot of people that's not their life. And I'm hopeful every day because we have these sorts of services, and I know that there's a number of other community orgs who partner with us to deliver them.
You mentioned that there are certain, whether it's community groups or ethnic populations, that are more susceptible to different type of cancers. Maybe this is a strange question, it just came to me now, but the obvious question is, for the LGBT community, are there certain cancers to which gay men and women, members of the trans community, bisexuals, are more susceptible or more at risk?
Yes, that's a great question, because we are trying to make sure that we are accessible to all communities and that we let them know what their risks are and what their options are. So the LGBTQ community, for example, does have increased risks in certain cancer areas. Some of it is lifestyle, some of it is, you know, they're accessing screenings less, or so maybe they're being diagnosed later. There's so many reasons. I'm not a medical professional or researcher myself, but there is documented research, and we do try to reach out to this community to engage them both as users of our programs, but also as volunteers. We want volunteers that represent the community we're serving.
Yeah, I read somewhere once, and maybe you can correct me or verify this, that the way the gay community, specifically the gay male community, responded to the AIDS pandemic in the early 80s, early 90s, has developed some lessons and best practices for how now cancer is, I don't want to say marketed, but how you market and sell your services to the community at large. Is that true? Did the AIDS epidemic have an impact on how cancer is talked about?
You know, I haven't read the research or literature on that myself, but I think it's pretty clear that when you make it a community issue and you show how we are all connected to this disease, yes. I'm sure we have learned so much from that. You know, there's a campaign called 1 Degree, demonstrating how we are all connected to cancer by 1 degree. We know someone, we are someone, it was a family member or a neighbor.
All right. How much of an impact has the American Cancer Society had on the anti-smoking campaign?
You know, we have had a lot of impact over the years, and we have a group called ACS-CAN, that is the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. They are a separate entity of the American Cancer Society, and they work basically on Capitol Hill and in Sacramento to really make sure that cancer is an agenda in the legislature. And they're working right now to pass a bill for a believe it's a $2 tax on cigarettes. The more we prevent people from smoking, then we can actually prevent them from getting smoking-related cancers.
Right.
There are more than one. It's not just lung cancer.
All right. In our last few moments, talk to me about something that's gotten a lot of press lately, and that is e-cigarettes. I know the American Cancer Society has come out very strongly against that, and I think there are a lot of people, including maybe present smokers, former smokers, people who think, well, I'm trying to stop, and this seems to me like a good step. What is the American Cancer Society's take or position on e-cigarettes?
Well, I do believe that our initiative right now with the $2 tax on cigarettes, I'm not certain, but there's something written about the vapor, the e-cigs, that is important that we do research, we understand what risks they prevent for the users. And so I believe our stance right now is that we do think that no smoking is the best policy, whether via a tobacco cigarette or an e-cigarette.
Right. We've just got a few moments left. Tell me what you would like to leave our viewers with as far as, one, the work of the American Cancer Society, but two, if there's someone out there right now that has just gotten a diagnosis of cancer, what do you say to them?
Well, you're not alone. The American Cancer Society is here to help you. We have programs, we have services, and we're here to help educate too. Our mission is to do everything from, fund the research that's going to help prevent and to take care of those who are experiencing cancer now. If you need a ride to treatment, come talk to us. We'll connect you to some volunteers or some other services. If you want to improve your self-esteem, come talk to us about what could feel better. And lastly, if you aren't going through cancer treatment right now, but you want to make a tremendous impact, be a volunteer. Call us at 1-800-227-2345 or visit cancer.org.
Very easy URL to remember, www.cancer.org. Thanks so much for speaking with us, Ashley, and good luck on your work.
Thank you.
Next up, our conversation with Chad Jones, also doing good work, showing how important it is to a young person's educational life to put theater and art into the schools and to put schools and students into arts-making venues. We'll be right back.